branding is the art of creating and communicating a certain perception to the world. So if you could think a customer of yours, if they were at home, what are they saying about your business? What is it that you left, what's that feeling that you left them with? Is it trust? Is it, yeah, they seem really nice and friendly, so I'll go back to them again? Or could it be something else? The power of branding. A brand can enable us as business owners to be selective based on quality and experience rather than price. If you're a startup, do we have any startups in the room? Couple. So a brand can enable you to focus on your years of experience and your knowledge rather than the fact that you're a startup. So going to a networking event, it's presenting a brand in a certain way to communicate what you have to offer and how you solve those problems. So this is a great quote that I love, is when you brand yourself successfully, the communication becomes irrelevant. So this is a diagram that I love to use just to try and really simplify the process and how we create a brand. So we've got a business, we've got an idea, so you plant the seed. But what's important is before we shoot straight up to creating our visual identity and our logo and all those visual components, which is really exciting and we love to do, we really need to understand that we've got to create that strategy and that foundation first. So the thing to look at here is if you can nail that strategy and get a full understanding of your market and competitors, it actually enables you to create a visual identity with a focus. It gets a lot clearer as to what colours you should be using, what style should we be presenting as. Even areas in which you should be marketing your brand can be really narrowed down. What social media platforms should we be focusing on? So a lot of businesses, like I said, do tend to start at the visual identity, at that top section, but it's really important to develop that foundation for yourselves first. So the third thing here is nurturing. And a brand is not a one-off thing that you create and then you sit and there it's done. It's something that needs to be consistently nurtured. It needs to be adapting. Demographics change, technologies change. God, do we know technology changes? Social media, for instance. So we need to be ensuring that we are adapting our brand consistently and being aware of those shifts in demographics or those elements of technology that we need to be adapting our brands to. So what goes into developing a successful brand? So I've only got 30 minutes tonight, so I'm only going to be scratching the surface. But the first thing we want to look at is understanding who we are and what kind of brand we want to be creating. The second is knowing and understanding your market. And the third is knowing and understanding your direct and indirect competitors. So who we are. So we need to know who we are and where we're going in order to create a plan to get there. So the key areas we need to look at are what's our vision, what are our goals, where do we see our business in 5, 10, even 15 years' time. I know it's sometimes hard to plan that far ahead, but we need to have some idea because we don't want to be building a brand for who we are right now if we want to be building franchises or we want to be going Australia-wide or global, because we don't want to build a brand that's too small. We want to have a brand that we can grow into rather than outgrow. So looking at our goals, our values, having a purpose and a mission. Something else that's really important to look at here is the structure of our business and the structure of our brand. I had a strategy session with a client just the other week where they're an accounting firm. And if you go onto their website and look at their services, they've got about 12 different services sort of scattered on the page. But there was no structure to it. And if we really identified it, each of those areas of service, they actually targeted different areas of business. So we restructured it and came up with 3 categories. It was, I think, business structure and business planning, and then business and personal. So creating a structure and identifying that structure can actually lead our audience and enable us to market our brand to those different stages in business and their market. We also need to identify what kind of brand we want to create. So I've given 3 examples here. So a personal brand. This is something that's actually on the rise. There's a lot more people creating their personal brands, and I think it's because it's so powerful. We buy based on emotion, so we want to connect. And being a person and being able to connect with that person is very easy for us to do. So a personal brand revolves around you. It's your cause, it's your values, it's your personality. So examples of a personal brand would be someone like Michael Jordan or Ray Folio, who's a business coach. So people don't buy Jordan shoes because they look pretty. They buy it because of what Michael Jordan represents. They were a kid like myself who grew up following him and everything that he had to do. So that's why they buy those shoes, because of the person and the cause of who he is. So if you decide you want to go down the personal brand route, then you really need to be looking at your story and that being the message that you're telling, more so than the visual identity components of it. Your logo and your business cards and all of that, they actually become more supporting tools for your personal brand. You need to be the face. If you don't like your photo taken and you don't like speaking in public, then a personal brand probably isn't for you, because that's exactly what you need to be doing. Second one is a practical brand, and probably one that more or not a lot of businesses probably fall under. So this solves a practical need or problem for a particular market. So examples that I've got there are probably pest control, accountants, or even, in some cases, restaurants. So I say practical brand because, I'm a creative, so I don't like numbers, so I hire an accountant not because I want to, but because I need to. Because there's a problem there that they solve for me. And I choose my accountant based on who can solve it the best. So it's not necessarily I want to have an accountant, it's I need to have it. So if you're a practical brand, you really need to be identifying what the solution is that you are solving, and that is what you communicate, more so than the method and how you do it. Third one is brand name. A lot of people are probably familiar with brand names that are out there. These are all about the identity and the experience. It is often driven by creating something desirable and making this particular customer feel special. So brand names are very emotional brands. They're all about the experience and labeling it with an icon for people to associate with. So Mercedes-Benz. People don't buy Mercedes-Benz because it's a practical purchase. Toyota and Honda are probably more of a practical brand because that comes down to fuel efficiency and, we need a car for the family and those sorts of things. People buy Mercedes-Benz because it makes them feel something. It makes them feel successful. It makes them, feel luxurious or whatever it may be. So if you're choosing to go down, having a brand name, really focus and hone in on the experience that you create and find out what that market wants to be feeling when they interact with your brand. So the second one I want to touch on tonight is who is your market? So we need to know and understand who we are marketing to so we can communicate a clear message that resonates with our market. Your market will never be everyone. And you need to also identify where you sit within your market. What age bracket are you targeting? Like mentioned before, you can have a stationery brand, but everyone can sell stationery, but you need to identify what part of that market you want to be targeting. Is it the kids or is it more sophisticated? And really narrow it down. Identify age, gender, or the personality of who that ideal customer would be. What are their likes? What are their dislikes? Where do they shop primarily? We've got online and we've got retail. Is your market more inclined to purchase online? Then that will tell you that you need to be putting your brand awareness online rather than in print media and those sorts of things. And if you really want to get stalkerish, we can hunt down where they live and those sorts of areas. Only if it's relevant to your business, though. So the 2 points that I do want to, really highlight here are the pain points and what solution are we solving. We need to be creating a brand that solves the pain that someone. We buy an emoji, we buy because we need to be interacting with a service or a product. So really identify what that pain point is and create a brand around that. Not necessarily what we want it to be, but the pain point and the solution that we're providing. So, who are our competitors? So we need to know who else within our industry we're competing against. And I categorize them in direct and indirect competitors. So businesses that provide the exact same service or product as you would be a direct competitor. Indirect competitors would be services and products that are the same but would fall in close proximity to what you have. And it's important to identify both because you could be put up against them on the products on the shelves like Coca-Cola. A direct competitor for them would be Pepsi, but an indirect competitor would be other drink products that are out there on the market. So understanding how they're marketing and how they're putting their products forward is important for how we can identify our brand and how we can communicate that to try and win that market share, I guess. So now I just want to run through and put that method into practice. Fortunately, we've got Catherine Lyons in the audience tonight, and I wanted to use this as an example of a great personal brand. Now, it may not look like a personal brand, but it very much is because it revolves around Kat's cause, what she's about. She's out there networking, she's showing her face, and her story is so strong and so powerful that people jump on board with it. So we're not necessarily building a full visual identity, we're not doing massive marketing materials and all of that promotional material because the power of the brand is her. The power of the brand is her doing videos, getting in front of people, so that's where our focus needs to lie. But if we look at who they are and what their values are, it came down to one word, and that's inclusion. So inclusion in society, people with a number of disabilities or people that can't interact in everyday life in different community events and all of those sorts of things. So looking at something as simple as a business card, we needed to identify how we can make that inclusive. So I don't know if you can really tell, but we actually included Braille on the back of the business card because that enabled this card to be inclusive to everybody. So that's taking it back to your values as a business. This is also a great supporting toolkit when Kat goes around networking because it doesn't have just the logo and it doesn't have just the details, but it's actually providing a visual tool for when she communicates because it's her actual products that she is trying to get out there and share that message with the world. So when she's telling her story, she can show the business card and people can relate it back to it. So instead of think about those sorts of things like a business card. What greater impact can you have other than just representing your logo and those details? What else can it say? How else can you communicate that story or that brand message? Second one I want to run with you tonight is Token Real Estate, and Craig is going to kill me for showing you this one, but this is his current branding. And the story, when I first met him, he told me a story of a husband and wife, and the wife was looking to to sell their home in Karina. And she brought it up with her husband, and the husband said, no, Token don't work within our market, they actually work on the lower end of the scale. When that's actually not the case at all. Craig's actually the #1 agent in Karina, but you wouldn't get that from their current brand positioning. So what we did was we looked at who they are, what they're representing, where they are looking to go into the future, how they want to be established and how they want to be seen, but also ensuring that brand perception is strong. So we've created something like this. So completely different, but it's on who they are. They're friendly, they're approachable people, they're actually very genuine agents. A pain point within the market is trust with real estate. So it was imperative that we created a brand that could be trustworthy. But it's not just the visuals that we change, it's the words, how we communicate it. Instead of using, massive amounts of text, and this is everything that we do, it became about, this is what you get. It's a stress-free process, So identifying those pain points, we were able to communicate that in a more conversational way, rather than telling people what we're doing. So this is another recent brand that I've been working with, and it's a great example for products and the perception of products. So the one on the left it's a product that's been brought in from Africa. And it's actually around the world. It's in Europe and America and Canada and all the rest. And that packaging works over there. They don't have an issue with it over there. But bringing it here into the Australian culture, we're completely different. The way we buy is different. The one on the left is so unfamiliar to us, and I think if you see it's probably in French, because half of it was in French and the other half was English. So if a product is so unfamiliar and we raise all of these concerns as to why we wouldn't purchase it, then no one ever will. So what we need to do is we need to identify what they are and how they're going to grow. So we actually changed the name for this business to be AK Organics, because they're only going to ever be dealing with organic foods. So just within the name, you can identify what they do. Looking at the market, identifying that the market, what their pain points are, why they would buy this product. So this is a gluten-free, nut-free, grain-free flour. So the pain point was people that are gluten-free or nut-free having a great tasting alternative to regular flour. So taking that pain point, we made sure that we would utilise that in all of the imagery and how we communicate that through the rest of the brand material. So in summary, creating a brand is about finding that sweet spot between being the brand you want it to be, providing the service and experience your market needs, and being different enough to separate yourselves from your competitors. Always want to be different. Always want to be different. Look at a competitor and go, that's a great job, but how can we be different to them? What unique value proposition can you bring to the table? Are you the unique thing that no one else can have? Or what other service, or how can you enhance the experience of your business and your brand to separate yourself? So it doesn't become about price. It becomes about the value that you have to offer your market. So I hope you're able to take some notes away from that.